Hello. Hello. How are you? We're going to be meditating. I'm going to start by clearing my space. So, I found a comfortable seat, and my comfortable seat is with my hips raised a little bit, sitting on a cushion. You could sit on a pillow. You could sit on a couple of books. You'll probably find that you're more comfortable with your hips slightly elevated, thank you, than flat on the ground. I'm gonna light some Palo Santo. Why do I do this? There's a few reasons. One is scent is a great way to positively anchor what you're doing. Meditation is a fundamental part of not just yoga, but a healthy mental life for anybody. So by lighting something that smells good, I'm anchoring a positive experience. I'm creating one more positive association with what we're about to do, which is meditate. Palo Santo. You can smoke weed though if that's in your spiritual practice. And legal. We'll say that. So, our space is sacred. We're going to meditate. I'm going to lead you through meditation. As people come in, I might give them a quick reminder of what's going on. Is what a good meditation? Can you repeat the question in a different way about meditation? All right. If you can repeat the question, I'll address it if I see it. So, let's start by breathing. Deep breathing is a great way to start a meditation. It helps get you into the space. So, meditation is good. Yes, of course. So, I'm going to teach you a thing called Ujjayi breathing. Maybe you know it. If not, this is what it sounds like. We find that the exhale part is easier than the inhale. And hey, if this is too hard for you, don't worry. Just breathe deep. So, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Feel free to close your eyes or just soften your gaze. What do I mean by soften your gaze? Let the eyelids become heavy. Inhale. Focus on nothing in particular. Maybe you could light a candle in front of you and use that to meditate. Some people, especially if they're highly visual, it's helpful for them to have something that they can bring their eyes back to when they start to wander, like a light. But you can just close your eyes, let your eyes blur. Yes. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's breathe into the width of our lungs. So breathe. You can put your hands on your side of your rib cage if you'd like. Feel them widen. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's breathe into the length of our spine, breathing in a way that makes us feel like we're getting longer from top to bottom. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Yeah, let's do some holds. Inhale. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale on 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm now going to guide you with my fingers. If you want to keep your eyes closed, you can do this at your own pace. It's okay if your respirations are a little messed up. You can go at your own pace or check out the screen, okay? Inhale. Hold. Exhale. You can do whatever you want during this process that helps you. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. We all have different rates at which it's comfortable for us to inhale, hold, and exhale. Now I'll move to silently showing you what I'm doing, just in case you want to take things at a different pace. Some people are against laughing in meditations. I'm not at all. You can be ridiculous right now. I will give you a heads up that we're aggressively moderating tonight. The reason is to hold space for the people who want to seriously do this, but this can be as ridiculous as you want it to be. Just know that if you push it a little too far tonight and not other nights, we will aggressively be kicking people out. Just hold space. So, no offense, just what tonight's about. Okay. As we move forward, keep returning to your breath. The first thing we're going to meditate on is compassion towards yourself. This is at the root of all of our yoga practice. Yoga isn't just asanas. Asanas are what we call the physical movements. We'll see. We'll see who wins. You're good enough to be here. You deserve a moment of kindness from yourself. You can go back to being critical in the ways that are appropriate after this practice. It's important to be realistic about what's wrong and right in our lives. But let's use this moment, this meditation, for self-compassion. As negative feelings pop up, acknowledge them. We're not suppressing them. Let me give you some of mine. the stairs feel blank, close your eyes. Anyone have anything they're having trouble letting go of? Anyone have anything they're having trouble putting aside about themselves right now? It's funny, I was looking for something to be self-critical about this morning. Quite the contrary, okay. I was looking for something to bring up right now, something that I was having trouble letting go of, but I'm having a remarkably easy time letting go in this morning. Maybe that's because I'm trying to find something to hold on to. Isn't it funny how sometimes when we run away from things, they keep following us, but sometimes when we look straight at the farts of our soul, they can't be smelled. Sometimes when I meditate, I enjoy holding on to a physical object, like a crystal. Not because of any magical powers per se, but I'm a pretty tactile person, so just like some people benefit from looking at a candle when they meditate, I benefit from sometimes having something in my hand, so I can just come back to that sensation. Nice. Here's something I'd like to let go of. Sometimes I come home in a bad mood, and that mood sours out the whole environment. So I'm just going to notice that. Sometimes I'm in a bad mood. That's the truth. I'm just going to accept that and show myself some compassion right now. Sometimes I use alcohol as a form of celebration. Right now I'm going to accept that. Sometimes I use alcohol as a form of celebration, even though I always know it ends up making me feel worse the next day, even just a little. Anything. But I'm attached to that for some reason. It's easy to resent friends sometimes. So just accept that. Sometimes you resent friends. Sometimes I think yoga teachers are annoying. If you'd like to put on music right now, that's fine. This is silent on mine, but it can be musical on yours. You might know normally I like to play hip-hop, but tonight's a special night. Thanks. More comfort to come. When a high-minded concept like compassion is hard to reach, it can be helpful to find something a little more particular, like humor. So now let's shift our meditation from self-compassion to self-humor. Something ridiculous about yourself. Maybe other people don't think it is, but something you can laugh at yourself about. Mine is my occasional absolute social awkwardness. I don't know how to act in meetings. If we have an organized group of more than like 2 people, I'm gonna do it wrong. So I'm just gonna let that go now. Just laugh at it and let it go. meditating on our humor about ourselves. Laughing at funerals, that counts. Spending your paycheck on crystals. Okay, accept that about yourself. Hey, I've done it too. I have all my crystals here. If I hadn't bought any of these, I could probably buy a couple loads of mad organic groceries, but instead I have a box of rocks. I'm going to accept that about myself, have a moment of compassion, and now a moment of humor. Yes, I'm the kind of person who sometimes makes stupid purchases like crystals that may or may not have anything beyond a placebo effect. Let's change the tone of this meditation to something personally aspirational. I'd like you to pick one feeling that you would like to bring into your head right now. And I don't want you to pick happiness or joy or something obvious like that. Pick something rather particular, like curiosity or reverence, being beatific, mourning. If you're in the mood to be sad, pick mourning. It doesn't have to be a positive feeling. Pick something you want to bring in. Maybe someone in your life has died and you think you want to go there. Go there. Let's go there with intention. Rapture, that's another one. Go to that feeling. I'm going to pick curiosity. Go to that feeling. If something else pops into your head, acknowledge it and let it go. Now scan your body. What do I mean by this? Feel your toes, feel your bottoms of your feet, feel your ankles, feel your calves, feel your knees, feel your thighs, feel your hips, feel your groin, feel your stomach, feel your chest, feel your shoulders, feel your arms, feel your wrists, feel your fingers, feel your neck, feel your jaw, feel your temples, feel your head. Of all the places that you have just put some feeling into, pick one that you would like to send a sense of ease. You can touch them if it helps. If what you're feeling is discomfort around asymmetry, just acknowledge that. You don't have to touch anything. Just feel a place in your body that could use a sense of relief. Just think about it. I'm thinking my right foot could use a sense of relief right now. You can touch it. Now, we're going to talk about your relationship to your environment. And we're going to meditate on a positive feeling this time that you would like to bring into your environment. So, I would like my environment to feel affirming. It's okay for it to be something like affirming that's not necessarily the top of the spiritual tier. Maybe you want your environment to be relaxing, maybe energizing, maybe safe, And now let's take a moment to reflect on what it would be like if your environment was a little more that one thing you're thinking of. I invite you to close your eyes and let's take some deep breaths. I'm thinking of what it would like for my environment to be more affirming. What's funny is when I think about that, I realize the ways that it is. Just having this tripod in front of you, having Periscope open, is affirming to me because it reminds me of me being on track with, doing something that gives me value in life, brings me happiness. For you, the feeling might be peace. Maybe when you bring the feeling of peace into your observations about your environment, you'll notice a place in your environment that is peaceful. If not, that's okay too. Imagine what it would be like if your environment was a little more peaceful, or whatever word it is you want to bring in. Maybe it's energetic, maybe it's serene, maybe it's beautiful. And breathe. If thoughts drift in about something else, just acknowledge those thoughts. And go back to thinking about a good feeling you'd like to bring into your relationship with your environment. We're focusing on a good feeling we'd like to bring into our awareness of our environment. For me, I'm meditating on the feeling of affirmation. I like to feel affirmed by my environment. For you, maybe you want to feel invigorated by your environment. Maybe entertained. Maybe validated. Let's shift our meditation to the people we interact with. We all interact with different amounts of people. Some of us don't interact with anyone most days. Some of us interact with a lot of people most days. Whichever amount of people you tend to interact with, let's bring in one feeling that you'd like to bring into your relationships with other people. Some examples. Ease. Just an easy time experiencing a lot of people. Maybe confidence. Maybe assertiveness. Maybe peace. Love, affection, humor, attraction. Let's see, what do I want to bring into my relationships with people? Comfort. I can get really socially uncomfortable. Humor's fine. You can bring in sexual excitement if that's what you'd like. Meditate on what it is with other people you'd like to bring into your social world. Thanks for sharing the website. I'm bringing in comfort into my interactions with other people. If you're feeling uncomfortable about the people that you've been interacting with, maybe bringing in a sense of what it would be like to have the opposite of that. Whether that's, feeling like everyone belonged, maybe belonging or maybe respect. It's okay to acknowledge the negativity that's been permeating your social life. If you don't like the people that you've been seeing in your neighborhood, that's okay, acknowledge it. If there's someone in your world you've been having a negative interaction with, just acknowledge it. Appreciate it. It's a good one. We're focusing on the feeling we'd like to bring into our social lives. Whatever the size. If you're being distracted by a feeling like hunger right now, just acknowledge it. You can think to yourself, yes, I feel hungry often. Okay, going back to that feeling that we'd like to bring into our social lives. You can do whatever you want. I'm bringing in the feeling of comfort because sometimes other people make me feel uncomfortable. Or more like sometimes I make me feel uncomfortable with other people. Self-loathing, okay. Acknowledge I experience self-loathing. And so just think of another feeling that's not let's not go for high reach feelings here. Let's not go for the most bliss ever. Let's go for something a little more poignant, like contentment or peace, humor. So think of a feeling that you'd like to bring into your social world. And let's take some deep breaths. If you're just joining us, we're doing a guided meditation. No music on my end, but you can play music on yours. We're meditating on a feeling that we'd like to bring into our social lives. The feeling I'd like to bring into my social life is comfort, because sometimes I feel uncomfortable around other people. So I'm bringing in the feeling of comfort. I'm just imagining that feeling. It doesn't have to really be there. When other thoughts and feelings pop in, I'm just acknowledging. Here we are in a Periscope show. It's a perfect opportunity to practice imagining this feeling. Satisfied. That's a good one. Take some deep breaths, imagining that feeling. Now we're going to move to meditating on our relationship with money. Think of a feeling you want to bring into your relationship with money. Negative feelings might pop up. You might have a pang of scarcity. Let's acknowledge those negative feelings as they come. Me right now, I'm like, whoa, I just emptied my savings account to pay off a lot of bills. I'm acknowledging that. That's okay. And I'm going to pick another feeling to add into my money relationship. Let's see, what do I want to bring in? I could add humor, I could add gratitude, generosity. I'm going to bring in the feeling of generosity because I love feeling like I can pick up the check. I love getting presents for people. If you've heard of love languages, gifts is mine. Makes some people really uncomfortable, but I love gifts. I love giving them, mostly giving them. So I'm bringing in this feeling of generosity around my relationship with money. You might have a different feeling around money. Maybe you want to bring in peace. Maybe you want to bring in contentment, confidence. Breathing deep into that feeling around money that we'd like to bring in. For me, it's generosity. Feeling like I have so much, I can just share it with all my friends, give to causes I love, buy stuff that's cool that will give me a great experience. I love feeling generous with money. If negative feelings about money pop up, acknowledge them. Welcome. If you're just joining us, we're meditating, and I'm guiding this meditation. Right now we're meditating on money. And I want you to pick a feeling you'd like to bring into your relationship with money. For me, it's generosity. I love feeling like I can be generous. For you, maybe it's security. Maybe you want to feel like you have enough money. Thanks. I'm getting happy just thinking about being generous with money. Getting to spend it liberally and share it. Negative feelings might pop up, but we allow them. Nice. If you're just joining us, it might help to bring a scent into your space. I'm going to burn a little more Palo Santo right now. Having your sense of smell engaged is a great way to anchor all the good effects of a meditation. This is a stick of Palo Santo. It's a type of wood that you can burn, and it smells lovely. So, I like Palo Santo. I like sweetgrass. Great. Now we're going to shift from meditating on how we want to feel about money to a feeling we want money to help us get to. For me, it's adventure. I know that I want to have more money that I can spend on traveling. So right now I'm going to invite the feeling of adventure. The adventures that I can have with the money. You can do whatever you want. I recommend Palo Santo and sweetgrass. Some people like other things, really whatever you like. Lemon, orange. So, what is a feeling that you want money to help you get? For me, it's adventure. Maybe for you, it's security. Maybe it's variety. So you can afford to eat in a new restaurant every day. Stability, that's a good one. Maybe it's respect. Maybe you want to have enough money to be respected. There's no hierarchy here. You can want something that might sound less spiritual. It's fine. Perpetuity, cool. So what do you want money to get you? I want to get the feeling of adventure. Tech, love it. Security and freedom. Drugs, cool. And since drugs aren't a feeling, let's channel that into a feeling. Maybe it's variety, so drugs to alter your state so that you can have variety. Or maybe it's pleasure, drugs for pleasure. And I would consider pleasure a form of pain relief. It's helpful to speak in the positive, so instead of saying you want money to help relieve pain, say you want money to help you bring pleasure. That's a more effective way to meditate. So, breathing deeply. And that feeling we like money to bring in for us. Adventure for me. Something different maybe for you. I thought of a new one for me. I want to have the money to take the best care I can of my pets. So it's a feeling of responsibility. I want my money to help me feel responsible. So, adventure and responsibility. We're meditating on something we'd like, a feeling, not just a something, but a feeling we'd like money to bring into us. So if you want to help people, let's turn that into a feeling. How about contribution? That's a good feeling word for money that helps us help people. So meditate on the feeling of contribution if that's you. There's no hierarchy here, so you can say to feel powerful. That's okay. Internet says sensuality for self-love. Great. Fulfillment. So internet sensuality, there's different ways to put that in a feeling. Like sensuality is a good one, like you said. Connection. Sexiness. Those are all fine. Thanks. Now, here's a tricky one. All we have is the present, right? But I'd say all of us are probably faced with fears about the future. So what we're going to do now is meditate on something for our future. If you have fear around your future, which most of us have, acknowledge that fear and instead invite a new feeling that you'd like to inject into your relationship with the future. Because even though we never really get the future, all we get is the present, we still have this abstract concept that we're stuck with called the future. So let's just pick something, a feeling that we can associate with our future. Maybe it's variety. That's a good one, since you'll definitely get it. You really don't know. Belonging, that's a good one. A feeling about our future that we're bringing in. Stress-free. So let's reframe that as ease. Motion. I'm going to go back to adventure on this one. I'm going to bring back the feeling of adventure in relationship to my future. Acknowledging that balance, that's a good one. Acknowledging that ease, great. Acknowledging that I have fear in my future relationship. It's okay. All kinds of feelings are going to pop into your head right now. Acknowledge them, don't fight them. And then go back to the feeling you'd like to bring into your relationship with the future. Take some deep breaths. variety is a great feeling to bring into your relationship with the future, since it's a guarantee. But you never get the future. You know, you only get the present. So what we're working on right now is our relationship to the future. So that feeling in relationship to the future. Take some deep breaths here. At any time, if you're thirsty, feel free to take a drink. Variety and balance, that's great. You don't have to share. This is for you. Now let's do a similar exercise that can be in some ways more difficult. Let's pick a feeling for our relationship with the past. You never get the past. It's always this abstract concept. There are things that have happened, but the past as a thing has a fuzzy boundary. Our memories aren't perfect. I have a lot of pain in relationship to my past, and I'm going to acknowledge that. But now I'd like to pick a feeling that I'm going to inject into my relationship with my past. I'm going to imagine what it's like if my past, besides the pain, also contains some... Let me see, maybe you can help me find a word for this. I'm glad I've done a lot of different things, because I don't have any feeling that I didn't do enough wild, travel and things like that. So what am I going to call that? Wisdom, experience, humble. I feel humbled by my past. But that's not the right word. What do you want to inject into your relationship with your past? Knowledge, experience? I'm going to think about mine for a second, but what do you want to inject into your relationship with your past? Acknowledge any bad feelings that come up. Maybe it's love. Forgiveness, that's a great one. Oh, I know what I need. Acceptance. Yup, that's my medicine tonight. I'm going to inject the feeling of acceptance. Here's why I'm not going to pick knowledge. A, because it's not exactly a feeling word. It's sort of an abstract concept. Also because knowledge is dicey. What you think you know might not be what you know later. Acceptance is a pretty good one because it really doesn't hurt. Accepting the past is a great thing to do. It's one of the only things you can do. But hey, forgiveness, that's also a good one. Love, happiness, peace. I'm going to use acceptance with my past. Acknowledging any negative feelings as they come up. And I'm feeling called to burn some sage right now, probably because when I think about my past, some negative feelings come up. And since sage is associated with cleansing, this is a symbolic way for me to acknowledge those things from my past that bring up negative feelings and move on with this meditation, where I'm meditating on acceptance about my past. Acceptance. Take some deep breaths here. Let's shift our attention to something very interesting. We have senses, right? We have touch, taste, sound, sight, smell. There are animals that have senses we don't have, like echolocation. So it's safe to assume there are senses just outside of our grasp. What that means is that there's information just outside of our grasp. Just as certain insects can see fluorescence and we can't, imagine how much information is out there that we don't quite grasp. I'd now like us to meditate on what it is that we can't quite grasp. And a feeling word is what we're going for. It can be hard to find a feeling word, but we can do it. A feeling word related to how you want to feel about the things you can't quite grasp. Supported. That's a feeling. Sparked. Enlivened. Connection. I like connection. The way I'm wanting to feel about the things outside of my grasp is like an inside joke. You know when you look at your friend across the room and you're like, that's how I want to feel with the things just outside of my awareness. Inside joke feeling. Does that feeling have a word in English? Inside joke. Pick a feeling that you'd like to associate with whatever knowledge is just outside of your grasp. And you might be surrounded by it. Fluorescence is a good example because we know it exists. We know that all around us there's patterns in flowers, for example, that, when you're looking through special filters, you can see what bees see. There's all kinds of other information too. Things that whales, for example, use to navigate. We're meditating on a very particular feeling. If you're just joining us, let me explain. You can meditate in whatever language you like. When you get deep in your meditation, you'll get to a place that has no language, space between thoughts. Feelings don't necessarily have a language. Feelings are subverbal. We're using language to get to those feelings, but then it's the feeling you want. So, if you're just joining us, let me rehash here what we're meditating on. Think about your senses. You have touch, taste, smell, sight, sound. But there's senses that we as humans don't have. And if you think about the implications of that, there are, streams of information that we don't quite grasp as humans. Other animals do. There are animals that can navigate using magnetism. There are animals that can see fluorescence. There are animals that can navigate using vibration. And what we're doing is meditating on a feeling that we'd like to bring into our relationship with those things, those pieces of information, those streams of information, those fields of information that we're not directly aware of, but that exist around us. For me, it's a feeling that I don't have one word for, but I'm calling it inside joke. Feeling like, I get you, that was fun. To have that feeling with all the streams and fields of information that I don't quite grasp. I'm meditating on that inside joke feeling. My name is Cecily Madanes, and you can link to my Facebook through my website, hiphophatha.yoga. I know this is a fairly specific meditation, so it might take some going back to. Thanks for sharing, Panda. If you'd like to connect with me, you can go to that website, leave a comment, and I can help you link up. Meditating on how it is we want to feel in relationship to the fields and streams of information around us that we don't consciously grasp. I've got another tricky one for us to move into. This one's going to take another level of relaxation. So before we go there, let's breathe some deep breaths. We're going to do something called square breathing, where you inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Do it at your own pace. I'm going to be showing you with my fingers on the screen how I'm doing, okay? Inhale. Exhale. Now at your own pace, but you can watch my fingers if you'd like to join me. Inhale. Inhale. We're a level deeper now. We're a step closer to our subconscious. That's where we're going. We all have a subconscious. It's how we get anything done, including a heartbeat and breathing. Our subconscious is always doing one thing. It's keeping us alive. So that's a given. It's always protecting us. We're going to bring in a feeling of how we'd like to relate to our subconscious. Maybe openness. Maybe you want to open your subconscious a bit. Why might you want to do that? Because the subconscious is always running on the past. That's where it gets all of its information. And we've always got the present. It's like the law. The law of the land is always based on things that were happening at minimum, a few months ago. It's always playing catch up. It's the best we can do right now. So, our subconscious is always trying to protect us, but it's always doing that based on information from the past. So, we're bringing in a feeling, keyword here, feeling, of how we'd like to relate to our subconscious. Let me give you some ideas. Safe. Open. Trusting that our subconscious is in a good spot. Informed. Elevated. Intelligent. It's not exactly feeling, but you can let it slip in. A feeling of how we'd like to relate to our subconscious. Now, sometimes when we try and narrow it down to words, in a concept as subtle as subconscious, maybe words don't do it justice. I'm using the word open here, but what I mean isn't exactly open. What is it that I'm trying to do? I want to open a door for my subconscious to get a little bit more updated information of how I want the future to be. How I want the present to be. I'd like to open my subconscious up a bit so it knows the things that I was afraid of in the past aren't here anymore, and we can fluid. Oh, I like that, fluid. I'm gonna go with fluid. Thank you. So bring in a word that relates to how you like you and your subconscious to be getting along. Fluid is mine now. If other thoughts pop in, just let them pop in. Be like, hey thoughts. Okay, back to that feeling. Back to your breath. Maybe you're holding an object that helps you focus. Maybe you're looking at something that helps you focus. Hello, if you just joined, we're meditating. It's a guided meditation. We're thinking about our subconscious and meditating on a feeling that we'd like to bring into our relationship with our subconscious. A bit complicated, I know, but it's worth it. Yes, you can buy my voice. a lot of my voice is for free. I have a SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/CCCECCC. That's the letter C 3 times, the letter E, the letter C 3 times. So that's actually free. You don't have to buy it. Sort of free. Yeah, it's free. Whatever. I'm not very good at selling things, but that's for another meditation. Thank you. I would like to. Sounds great. Hey, if you're just joining us, we're meditating. Cool. We've been meditating on our subconscious, and I think we're ready to move on from there. I heard about something today, and it'll help explain what we're about to meditate on. Hello. It's something called a God helmet. This is a real thing, you guys. You can make a device that just shoots a little bit of electromagnetic radiation to the head. And I don't mean through, I mean just like on the outside. And in all people, it triggers a spiritual experience where people feel like others beings are in the room. I was listening to a recording today, this is on NPR, of a lady who was wearing this God helmet, quote unquote, because that's what it's called. She was wearing this helmet, and you hear her, just a normal ass lady, not particularly spiritual or anything. It's like, they turn on the God helmet, she's like, there are goblins in the room. Now, the state that this helmet triggers is naturally triggered when people are both sleep deprived and doing something intense, like riding a sailboat for 48 hours in a race, or the Iditarod, So we have a part of our brains that creates spiritual experiences. Some people means that, okay, what this means is that spiritual experiences aren't real. That's fine. I'm not claiming anything like that. What I want you to do is meditate on this part of your brain. You don't have to know the where. Let's not worry about that, because you don't need it. If you don't believe in spiritual experiences, fine, use your imagination. If you were to imagine spiritual beings in the room right now, let's bring in a feeling that we're going to meditation. A feeling that we're going to bring into our meditation. A feeling about these spiritual beings. For me, it's helpful. Comfort. For some reason, the word party is coming to mind, but that's not a feeling. So, okay, let's pick a feeling word. What are some feelings? Soothing. Let's find some feeling words. And you can use your imagination if you don't believe in spiritual beings. It's no less effective to use your imagination than to use belief. It's just an exercise, okay? Don't get worked up. We're imagining a feeling that we would have around some spiritual beings if they were in the room. Gravity, that's cool. Wait, but gravity's not a feeling. Gravity's a thing. So, find a feeling word. Embracing. I get what you mean with that one. We're meditating on a feeling that we have around spiritual beings, real or imagined. Playful. Ooh, I like that. I could use a little help, so... Oh, I get that kind of gravity. Got you. Not like, gravity, but that kind of gravity. Good job. That's a good word. So, for me, helpful. I'm bringing in the feeling of helpfulness around if there were spiritual beings in the room. To feel that they're being helpful. Oh, that would be so nice. And what that triggers in me is another feeling, which is gratitude. Once I imagine the feeling of beings being helpful, comforting is a good one. I start sensing my own gratitude. I'm going to stick with the gratitude then, because that's sort of the next logical step. Gratitude for beings being so helpful. Oh, thanks, beings. take some deep breaths. I'm here every day at 8:08 until I get a gig that prevents that, at which time I'll let you know when I'll be here. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to say this, you guys. I'm here as artist in residence on UNICULT's channel, so technically I'm only here until the 27th. Sorry I said that wrong. But I'll be here until the 27th. Okay, sorry to break meditation, but I realized I had forgotten to say that. Okay, back to meditating. Let's come back to where we started, okay? You've done such great work in this meditation. We've brought good feelings into many areas. We're going to go one last place before we come home to ourselves. We're going to go to the space between thoughts. So, meditating on the space between thoughts. This is going to require a lot of acknowledging things that are not the space between thoughts. A thought will pop into your mind, and then it'll be a space, a thought, and a space. Take a deep breath and find yourself in the space between thoughts. You might hear things. Go between those. You might sense things. Go between those senses. Easing your way into the space between thoughts. Finding yourself at the space between thoughts. Thoughts pop in, and between them, if you let them go, is a space. Finding ourselves at the space between thoughts. It might help to use a focal point. It can be a word, like space. Space, space, space. Finding the space between thoughts. Words can only get you so far. Senses can only get you so far. There is a space between thoughts. coming back into your body. If you want. Coming back to self-compassion, where we started. Little bit of compassion for yourself. Just a drop. Just a drop. How incremental can you make this feeling of compassion? How teeny can you slice it? Doesn't work that way, does it? When we bring in a feeling, we bring in a feeling. It doesn't take a lot of compassion for yourself to bring in compassion for yourself. A drop of compassion for yourself stains the whole tank. If you could feel 0.1% more compassionate for yourself, what would that feel like? We're meditating on compassion for ourselves. Again, that's how we started tonight at 8 to 8 p.m. Meditating on compassion for ourselves. Because ourself, that's who we need to get into the space between thoughts. The only way to the space between thoughts is through ourselves. You can't escape yourself yet. If you're here joining this show, joining this guided meditation, then you've got a body. By being compassionate with yourself, you give yourself a route to many other things. There's a place for all the other thoughts that pop up, all the other feelings that pop up. As each thought or feeling arises, acknowledge it. Don't worry, don't suppress it. Hey thought, and back to compassion for yourself. Just a drop. Just a teeny tiny bit of compassion for yourself. Doesn't need to be a lot. The littlest bit. Thank you for joining me on this meditation. There is a reason for the red lighting of the room. It's to help with melatonin. The light in most light bulbs does affect sleep quality. Red incandescent bulbs do not affect sleep quality as much. So once it's dark outside, I find it easier to get to sleep if I've lit my room with red lights. A lot of people find this. It's a great hack if you're having trouble getting to sleep. Well, thank you, everyone. Any other questions? I also use red light to wake up in the morning. It has interesting effects. Blue color is different than blue light, so not to be confused. Blue as a color is a calming color, but on a neurological level, blue light in bulbs does affect our sleep. So having a blue colored room is different than shining a light containing blue spectrum in it. Sound similar, but they're different. And the blue light that we're talking about isn't necessarily what you see. you probably know that a white light contains the full rainbow. That's the way light mixing works. So when you see a white light, what you're actually seeing is all the light colors mixed together. It's weird, but it's true. The blue light within that is what makes it hard to sleep. I, for example, have an iPad that I look at before bed, so I bought this special filter that filters out blue light. Yes, additive versus subtractive, exactly. So yeah, red lights are one of the ways I wind down at night. Conversely, in the morning, you can use both blue and red light to help you wake up. They have different neurological effects. Blue light helps you wake up, and red light, we should spend another episode talking about it. There's a lot of interesting things that happen when looking at red light on a cellular level. Well, I gotta go, guys. It's been a pleasure. I'll look more into salt lamps, and we'll talk about it next time, okay? Thanks again, everyone. I'm current artist in residence on the UNICULT channel. If you don't know about UNICULT, check it out. I think you're gonna love it. Bye, everyone.